What is going on, guys? ScorpionSlayer66 here, coming at you for another edition of my monthly vinyl pickups. Sorry for the lack of stuff on the channel this month. I've been super busy with work and just trying to have a social life. But I did obviously pick up some records this month, so let's get right into what I bought. So this is something I rarely buy anymore, but this is a CD copy of Tyler the Creator's new album, Flower Boy, or as it's also known as Scumfuck Flower Boy. Originally it didn't get a vinyl release, and I wanted to support him because I did listen to the leak. So yeah, I picked this up. It was a really great album, definitely one of my favorites of the year so far. Like, even for Tyler, this was a whole new level of amazing for him. So yeah, there was vinyl copies sold, so hopefully I will be getting mine whenever those get shipped out. So getting into vinyl, the first two were actually gifts from my best friend and my younger brother. So the first one, I'm going to show off some little stuff first. She went to England for her birthday, and she went to Rough Trade Records, which is a pretty known store there, and she got me the Rough Trade Records bag and this little, like, I don't even know how you would describe this, but it's just like a book that talks about like the area of England, the store, so very cool stuff. And the record she picked me up while she was there, thank you again, Casey. This is Vex's Wild Hunt. This is like a female-led post-punk band. It's a little generic, but it's still pretty good stuff. Love the pictures on the back there. Just comes on a standard black vinyl release. But yeah, kind of generic, but again, post-punk is cool to see, especially like in this era, so good album. I will definitely keep looking into what this group puts out. And the next one was a gift from my younger brother for my birthday, which is in a couple weeks, and this is the recent repackaging of the Terminator soundtrack. If you guys don't know, the original Terminator is like one of my all-time favorite movies, has an amazing soundtrack, really awesome packaging on this one. Like I said, love all the use of like the 80s colors. Really cool gatefold on the inside here of the Terminator, and on the back it just has like really cool artwork from like the film or shots from the film. But really good stuff. It actually comes on two really cool colored records. So the first record comes on like this cool grayish black raspberries, like, I don't even know if you would call this marbling or swirling, but very, very cool stuff. And the second one comes on this like light blue, silver, white swirl marbling. So again, very awesome. Thank you again to my younger brother. This is one of the only film soundtracks that I really enjoy outside of listening to it while watching the movie. So this one I just picked up on a whim because the cover art told me I needed to buy it, and this is called Have a Marijuana by David Peel and the Lower East Side. So I saw this at my record store, and I was just like, out of weird curiosity, I needed to have this, and it turns out this is actually kind of like a well-known-ish album. I mean, 64-Bit for Life knew it like right as soon as I posted it, so yeah, very cool. It's kind of like some folky stuff, so can't really go wrong with that, especially from like that 60s era. I finally found a copy of this, and this is Dusty Springfield's Dusty in Memphis. Just a classic album. Uses that Memphis sound to her like poppy kind of style really well. And what was cool is I actually got this originally sealed, and this is an original issue from 1969. So yeah, very, very cool. It even still has the little like punch hole from when they were trying to liquidate records and stuff. So really awesome. Like I said, I'm not going to show off the condition because it was brand new until I opened it. So yeah, classic album. Definitely excited to find this for a couple bucks. So this next one is from the Talking Heads, and it's called Little Creatures. Now, I've actually never even heard this album before, and I really love the Talking Heads. I'll pretty much add any records of theirs to my collection because they're not the easiest to find, especially like these older pressings. But yeah, still haven't given this one a listen, but really, if I know anything from the Talking Heads, they're not going to let me down. Now here's a Talking Heads record I am very familiar with, and this is Stop Making Sense. Really great album. The live renditions of some of their songs is just fucking awesome, especially the first one, Psycho Killer. The version that they do live is just so cool, how it's just the drum machine on the tape. Just really excellent album. Definitely one of my favorite Talking Heads albums. Definitely one of the ones that sticks out to me the most in their discography. So yeah, like I said, always love adding Talking Heads albums to my collection, and I got this for pretty cheap. Was very excited to find this. This is an original or very early pressing of Jimi Hendrix's Electric Ladyland. Now I know technically this isn't a first issue because it's not that band cover with all the nude women on it, but this is a very early pressing of the cover that most people are familiar with. And yeah, as you guys know, this is one of my all-time favorite albums. I have it on the reissue that they just did pretty recently. Again, just love the gatefold on this one. But yeah, I have each Hendrix album on the most recent reissue and original pressings, and so I finally completed that set with this one. Next up is just a classic album, and this is David Bowie's The Man Who Sold the World. This is the most recent reissue they did after he passed away. But yeah, really love this album. I think it's one of the more underappreciated ones from his discography. I mean, obviously, Man Who Sold the World is fantastic, but songs like Run and Gun Blues and All the Madmen are really underappreciated in my opinion. And I love the texture on this. It's like kind of gritty. It's just so satisfying. But yeah, always try to add to my Bowie collection just because he is such a prominent figure in music and I enjoy so many of his albums. And when I saw this, I definitely had to snatch it up. So sorry if anything looks different, my battery just decided to shut off on me, but this next record I picked up is Channel Live by Frank Ocean. So I love Frank Ocean. He's definitely one of my favorite artists of all time, definitely one of the most exciting musicians out right now. And this is just a rendition of some of his earlier work from things like Channel Orange and Nostalgia Ultra, and he also does a couple like Sade covers, I think a Bob Dylan cover, yeah, the first song on here. And yeah, it's just really good stuff. I mean, I really want to have a full Frank Ocean collection eventually. I only have 3 as of right now, and there's like 3 or 4 more that exist. So yeah, it is a bootleg, but for a bootleg, it actually doesn't sound too terrible. It does just sound like it came ripped right from the MP3 or whatever, but that's kind of to be expected. Comes on this cool like Coke bottle clear record, and there's 2 of them. So yeah, Frank Ocean, just really great stuff consistently, and like I said, eventually I want to have all of his stuff, so very cool to have that one. I was stoked to finally find a copy of this, and this is Kate Bush's Hounds of Love. Just a really classic, like, poppy album that, from the 80s, if I remember correctly. Yep, 1985. Just fantastic stuff going on here. I mean, Kate Bush was one of the more important figureheads of pop during this era, in my opinion. And this is just a classic album. It's renowned by millions of people. So, yeah, I believe this is an original pressing. It even comes with, like, this little stamp here that's from Capitol Records. So it looks like it was a promo copy, so very cool. I only paid a couple bucks for this, but I've been searching for this one for a while. So very satisfied to finally have this. Going to be getting a double dose of Swans coming up, and this first one is Time Is Money, parentheses, Bastard. Just really good stuff. I mean, honestly, Swans up until like the mid-90s, anything they put out for me is classic worthy, and most of the stuff they even put out after that is still amazing as well, but I'm really more keen to like 1995 and back, like when they were just starting more. But yeah, great stuff. Obviously, I love these covers, how they had the money symbols and just like the really basic color scheme, so very cool to have this one. And the other one that I got is a Screw, just another fantastic, I guess if you want to call it EP, but I guess it's an album, I don't know how to classify it. But yeah, just great stuff from Swans. Both of those are original UK pressings, so very cool to have those in my collection. Finally finished up that Death Grips collection by getting the Record Store Day press of Fashion Week / Interview 2016. So really cool. As you guys know, Death Grips is like one of my favorite groups of all time at this point, and just everything they've released is great, and this was the last one I was missing. Like I said, it was printed for Record Store Day, and it is the Fashion Week album and the Interview 2016 double like compendium record here. So really cool gatefold on the inside. So yeah, very happy to have this. I got this off Discogs used, but it looks like it was only like played once, so very happy to have this. You're also going to be getting a double dose of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, starting off with I'm in Your Mind Fuzz. Now, King Gizzard is one of my favorite groups right now. They're just pushing the boundaries on a lot of fronts that are so interesting and dynamic, and so I wanted to have their complete collection, and this one's pretty good. Has obviously songs like Cellophane and Hot Water, I'm in Your Mind Fuzz, I'm not in your mind fuzz. But yeah, this is like in the middle of like their discography for me. It's really good stuff, but it's not as great as some of their other works would be. And they really need to fucking reissue their early albums, because I really don't feel like paying like $300, $500, $1,000 for an album, let alone one that I just kind of like. So yeah, very happy to have this regardless. Great album. If you guys haven't checked out King Giz, I would definitely recommend doing so. They're one of the best bands around right now. And the other King Gizzard album I picked up this month is their newest one to date, and this is Murder of the Universe. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep up with the releases. I mean, they have 5 albums supposedly planned for this year, and I have the 2 they released this year so far. Again, not one of their best albums, probably down towards like the bottom tier for me. But again, it's a lot better than most of the rock music that's going on right now, so, and they're just great people, and so I wanted to support them, and this comes on a really cool record as well. So it comes on like this multi-toned blue translucent record, which is awesome. And if you got like one of the limited editions, I think you got this really cool like art book / lyrics book. So pretty much every page is just a bunch of really awesome artwork with the lyrics to each song. So, and like the story. So very cool. Really love King Gizzard's packaging. It's always on point. Very stoked to have a copy of this, and this is Fleet Fox's newest album, Crack Up. Definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. I'm thinking about doing an albums of the year list towards the end of the year, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. But yeah, pick this up just to support them for making such a fantastic record. I still prefer Helplessness Blues just a little bit, but this record comes so close. They really matured in terms of their songwriting and their like orchestrations, if you want to call them that, the instrumentation. So yeah, awesome album, very simplistic packaging, but yeah, great album, great band. If you guys haven't checked them out, I definitely recommend it. So if you guys aren't aware, the Smiths are my all-time favorite band, and I just recently dove into exploring Morrissey's solo stuff, and I loved it so much I went out and bought his debut record immediately. This is Viva Hate. This is easily the best album in his solo career, in my personal opinion. Just so great. I mean, it was released the same year as the final Smiths record, and this just sounds so much different. I think a lot of people would have been afraid he would have just made like a more like arrogant type of Smiths music, but he turned out to make just this really weird, very kind of ambient album, but it was still very poppy, but it wasn't like crazy instrumentation. So yeah, this is a UK original pressing, and I got it for really cheap, so very happy to have this in my collection. So up next is yet another bootleg for this episode, and this is Tyler the Creator's Bastard. So I think Tyler the Creator has one of the biggest potentials out of anybody in this industry, but he makes a lot of lackluster albums in my opinion. I'm really not a fan of Goblin or Cherry Bomb, but albums like Bastard and Wolf are amazing, and this one really stands out to me just because it's so sonically different from a lot of what he would do with the later parts of his career. But yeah, just some really raw, unapologetic, funny, dark humor type of stuff on here. This was his debut from 2009, so yeah, definitely a lot different than things he would be doing, but it's one of the better projects he's ever released in my opinion. Finally own a copy of this classic album. This is The Microphones, The Glow Part 2. This album is just incredible. It's so lo-fi and indie, but it works on every single level possible. Gorgeous gatefold on this. Really love how they package this up. It even comes with like this little like mock Obi strip type thing that tells you what's on what side and the little production credits and stuff. But yeah, just a really fantastic album. Not much I can really say that hasn't been said about it at this point. It was definitely a watershed moment for indie and lo-fi music. So yeah, just a classic album. So for the last record that I bought this month, I thought I'd show this off last just because it might not be expected if you don't know me too well, but this is Dark Throne's Transylvanian Hunger. If you guys don't know, I'm really a huge fan of like extreme metals like black metal, doom metal, death metal, all that kind of stuff, and this is just honestly one of my all-time favorite albums. Just really dark, doomy, apocalyptic black metal with some really amazing vocals. Just classic album, Norwegian black metal at its absolute finest. So yeah, not much I can really say about this. If you guys don't know what this sounds like, I definitely encourage you to at least give it a try. You probably aren't going to like it, but to me this is a classic album, especially for being such a out there genre. So that was another episode of Monthly Vinyl Pickups. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what was your favorite album I picked up? What album should I look into? Let me know. And while you're down in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time, guys, take care. Shut the fuck up, Jared. Nobody cares.